rinsing off some carrots that I just picked. That's our first pick, and we'll let them sit a little longer. They're good size, but we want them a little bit bigger. So we're gonna oh, we got two there. They're pretty small, so we won't dig any more up yet. Because most of them are about this size, but they're getting the length that I really like that. That's a nice length, so we'll leave them in there so they'll get bigger. And so that's our carrot harvest for the day. Some of them are decent sizes like these, but that would be nice if they all grew thicker like that. So we'll go ahead and leave them in the ground longer. But that's our test pull. You know, you always do a test pull with your carrots, so. Not very big, but I wanted to give, these ones seem to be crowded, so I wanted to give them more space to, whoop. This should be enough for a dinner for us, for our family. Oh, I cracked it. Oh, well, we'll have fish tonight with coleslaw, so maybe I can bring that recipe to you. We do a coleslaw that is a lot like KFC, because that's our favorite, and it definitely needs to be used right away because I cracked it, so we'll do that. And the deer, the chicken, are all standing here so that they can get some leaves, so I'll give that to them. It's funny how they know. Oh, I know you want some, Andy, I know. Okay, Fred. Now these two will have more room to grow, and extra greens do not go to waste. So now we are in the kitchen preparing our coleslaw. Just a little chopping. I chop it into larger pieces and then I put it through a food processor. And we have one of those quick and easy, handy little crank food processors. It works perfect for this. always take out these big chunks. They just really don't have a lot of taste or anything to them. And it makes it hard to go through the food processor with that, especially when you're using the hand cranked one. The reason why I use a food processor, I wouldn't mind having it at this length here, but some people have harder time chewing the bigger pieces or the longer pieces, so I always put it through the food processor. And I always put everything in my compost bucket that I keep next to my garbage. Now we're going to do the farm fresh carrots, or fresh garden carrots, straight from the garden to the table. That's what all these videos that are going to be a new series that I'm doing, from the garden to the table, just to show you guys that we actually, when we eat our food, and that you can take how to use these ingredients that you could pull out of your garden. We love this Copycat KFC recipe. I am going to show you and do a version below where just leave it in the directions or in the video notes, so you guys can have this. You can have this recipe. There's a couple things that we've changed in the recipe, and I'll do our version of the recipe. It's really simple and really easy, and you do it a couple hours before dinner, and you have this beautiful salad to have with some fish. I'm also going to bring you a really good halibut fish recipe in this video, and it is our favorite. My brother-in-law has, the last 2 years, has given us halibut. He goes off to Alaska and fishes halibut and salmon and brings it home. And he always has too much for just him and his wife. And so they share it with us, which is very kind of them. So we always have a good amount of salmon and halibut these last couple years, and it's been such a blessing, and we share eggs with them. So it's a win for us. We get rid of our extra eggs and we get some beautiful salmon, and this recipe actually comes from her that will share the halibut recipe with you. It's very delicious. And so normally you would julienne these carrots, which I could have done with easily too, but for some reason I cut them in little just square pieces, which are fine. These carrots are very nice and sweet, and I don't know if that's the cold that we had that made them so nice and sweet, or just the kind of carrots that they are. They're Denver carrots. And I'm very happy with them so far. So I had already started on this recipe, and what you missed here is I put in 3/4 of a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. I put 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper and half a cup of margarine. And I just put in some buttermilk, 1/4 cup of buttermilk and 1/4 cup of whole milk. And now I'm putting in, you can do white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. I put 1 of each of a tablespoon. and then 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then that was supposed to be a little shake of celery seed. You can do about a teaspoon of celery seed. We probably have done a tablespoon. I kind of just do that to taste. It's not in the recipe at all, but we really like that celery seed in there. We think it tastes more like KFC with the celery seed. And there is some out there that have the KFC Copycat recipes that have had the celery seed in there. So we just have combined a couple different ones. So this is our own version of it. One thing that we didn't add is that in the recipe it says 1 onion. You could do a finely chopped onion. It would probably be delicious, but we, for some reason, have never done that. This is my mother's recipe, my mother-in-law's recipe, and so she never does that, so I didn't do it. But you could. We didn't have enough onions, so we didn't want to do that. Okay, now for the halibut. We're going to start with some panko breadcrumbs. We'll do 1 cup of that. Always do it over our bowl so we don't make a mess. And then we have 1 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm trying not to make a mess, but I'm always real good at making a mess. There was hardly any left, so I just dumped it.
5 to 9.
More cheese, the better, right? And then we're going to add, first I start with 5 teaspoons of olive oil. We ended up using 8. You can do this recipe in half, and that's why it's got 2 different measurements. On the recipe it says 5 to 8. So you'll see me put 5 in, and then I add 4 more. So a total of 9 teaspoons. You just want it to kind of start coming together.
Does this go on
So
first?
it looks like this is mixed together well. It's well coated with the oil.
No.
The oil just helps it pack down. This is the first time I'm doing this recipe, and my mother-in-law is explaining to me. Next year we're going to start making our own pesto. Living Traditions has a very good recipe out there for that. So if you want to make your own and you have the basil, check them out. Maybe I can leave a link. I'm going to try their recipe because I would like to make this less salty, just because I have a salt sensitivity. So it says coat evenly all over the fish, so I'm doing that. My mother said I did it too thick, so I thinned it out later on. This is such a quick and fast recipe, and there's no, baking it in oil or are cooking it in oil or anything like that. It's just a baked recipe, and is still quick and easy. It only bakes for 15 minutes in the oven at, well, let me see the temperature here, 425 degrees. So makes it quick and simple. So you'd want to turn on your oven about half an hour before you're going to cook at 425. So okay. And then we just sprinkle this on. And then we just pack this on good and thick and over the sides so it gets nice and crispy sides. And you will see at the end, this is an amazing recipe. And so when I started making the coleslaw, I'm like, I have to give them this recipe because you don't want to miss out on it. And you could probably use any kind of white fish with this. And it would be delicious, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure cod would work, or tilapia. Anything like that, any kind of white fish. Could probably even do this with catfish, and it would blend well to it. Nummy, nummy for the tummy.